Oh.
Right. So now, Vignes, we have the presentation. Yes, up, and then Rabia will be moving the slides. So just let us know when.
Okay, so we can go to the next one after the introduction, since I've already introduced. So that's basically what I'm saying is that you have to know how to hack your way through. For example, so of course there has to be somebody who can trust you, but you have to take have some initiative, like me contacting the school. And even though the teachers didn't want to take me, the vice principal believed in me, and he took me, and I was able to work there for 1 year. And I ended up being I did all the classes from the 3rd grade to the 3rd grade when they start learning English, to the 6th grade. And then they put me into the Walmore classes, the immigrant preparatory classes as well, because they have problems integrating them into the English lesson. So, you know, the possibilities open up for you when you're already inside, but you have to be willing to start somewhere. Perhaps with me, because I was such a long time at home, I was willing to start with a tuokokelu. And then I got paid job. And with the palkkatuki, you can still get some kind of support from the Kela. So it's not like you are just with the palkkatuki salary, depending on the hours you work. And then it gave me courage. And then I moved to another school, and I was doing secondary school kids, because that was through recommendation from this principal to that school principal. Again, that wasn't even palkkatuki. That was the town was giving me a fixed term. So this is about finding your way around and kind of knocking on doors, but do it strategically. Because as we say here in Finland, about 70% of the jobs are not advertised, and they go through networks. So your network is very, very important, and building it strategically. Oh, Rabia, next slide, please. And one of these misconceptions of networking is that, you really have to know Finnish. I didn't speak Finnish in these jobs. I could speak Finnish, but I didn't use Finnish. And then you need to, kind of know people. You don't need to know them very well. And I think that people appreciate when you step up. It shows that you have initiative. It can be even through volunteer work. You can get yourself known. And it doesn't take much time. It really doesn't. Because I have 4 kids, and at that time when I started, my youngest was 5. So, and I kind of managed the whole household myself. So it doesn't really take time. And you really have to push away a lot of it's easy to find a lot of things that could stop you from networking. You have to push all the negativity away and move towards trying. Get the ball rolling, as we say in English. And the next slide, please. Oh, Rabea, next slide. Thank you. Yep, we got that. So I can share with you my beliefs in networking. Network proactively, and meaning that this is exactly what I did. I networked proactively. I reached out to people rather than waiting for someone to reach out to you. You have to meet people halfway in anything. And so you have to give something of yourself to get something back. And it could be willing to do tuokokelu. It doesn't matter if you are having a certain position in your own country or previous career, because I was a conference producer. So we organized conferences, regional conferences. Regional, that means around Singapore. I had my own seminar and conference business. And then I came here to Finland, and I didn't know, I was expecting my first child, and then I studied Finnish, and I really didn't have any network. So you have to think, how can I get myself out there? Nobody knows Vignes Mustola, and nobody, in fact, knew me until just a few years ago. Even when I was in the school, I didn't really network. It's only after my school teaching in the school that I decided, okay, what I want to do. I want to work with adults and professionals. I want to help them with their English because I knew that I can give something more. So that's what you do. You do it proactively. And the famous saying, network like there's no tomorrow. I mean, really, there's no limit to networking. As long as you're professional, I think that if someone doesn't accept your enthusiasm, okay, that's their loss. I wouldn't take it personally. I mean, you have done your share, and network strategically. It's a strategic, meaning that don't shoot arrows in all the directions, but think what you want to do and go in that direction. That is being strategic. Okay, so next slide, please. And I think that one of the things that I have done is use LinkedIn. Before, I was using the LinkedIn, and this was before the pandemic, in 2019. I can tell you that I only had two connections in 2019. And I thought to myself, who on earth is going to accept my LinkedIn invitation? I have two connections. This woman, this Vignes Mustola has been at home with their kids and then has done some teaching. So what I did, I went to all the networking events I could possibly go, face to face. And I went up to people and I introduced myself. Strategically, of course, not everybody. And I slowly built up my profile. And then I decided to, if there were events, and I think there was one in the Humk. We live in Hämeenlinna, so Humk, there was a speaking opportunity, and I took that up. I offered to help at that event registration in the morning because they asked if I could, and I said, fine. Someone I know remarked to me, someone who knew me there, oh, they are making you work for free. No, I didn't do it for the money. I did it for I got a reference. So be willing to do these things. Don't think about money. Think about, this is my way of getting my foot in. And when I did that, I also got the speaking opportunity. So these are things that you can do. Be willing to give your time, and it's always rewarded in a bigger way. So I got a speaking opportunity. I built up connections, and then I attended, of course, other face-to-face networking events where I reached out to people and I extended I sort of put myself out there. And you'll be quite surprised, because all these events, I didn't speak Finnish. I didn't need to. People were quite sort of, they were appreciative that I was there. Quite often I was the only foreign person there, and I just go and meet people. And some people like speaking English. Some people think I'm quite exotic. So I was there in all the events, just going on my own. I would ask some of my people whom I knew in the similar situation as me, but they were always very skeptical. They said to me, "Are you sure you can get a job from going to these events?" That's the other thing. You don't get a job from going to networking events, okay? But you build your networks. That's the difference. So I don't go to a networking event to find a job. I go there and build my sort of lay my foundation. I build myself up. As a house, you build yourself up, build your house. So I built myself up, got myself known. And sure, I didn't get a job from anyone whom I exchanged a card with, but I got to know people, and then I got workshop opportunities. I've worked with the Hamay Chamber of Commerce. I've done other things, and I got workshop opportunities because I got to know people, and they kept seeing my face at the networking events.
That point to start talking is a good point, Vignes, when you say, because language can be considered quite easily as a barrier, not only for international people that are not very confident with the Finnish speaking, but also the other way around. There are also many Finnish people who are not confident with their English speaking skills. And like you just said, that's not the point, the confidence, but just start talking.
Just start talking, because and then if they are like a bit shy, I start speaking some Finnish. Like my Finnish isn't that great, I think, but they're like, "Oh, you speak such good Finnish," and they start speaking some English, and oh, it's amazing how language is not a problem after some time. And then people start having this respect for you because you're actually doing something about your life. You're coming to these events. Of course, the pandemic came, and of course, face-to-face networking events came to a standstill. So I thought to myself, what should I do? I started to go then. Before, I just collected connections on LinkedIn. I didn't have that many. I think I would have even as early as last year. I didn't even have 50, I think. But then pandemic, and what do? I went to LinkedIn because I like to find another way. So LinkedIn became my networking tool. And through that, what did I do? I reached out to people. I searched profiles, but it was more in Finland. But I reached out to people, explained my situation, and asked them, would you consider connecting with me? This is very important. Write a message, write a brief note. You don't need to say a lot of things, but say what is your background and why you are reaching out to them, and would they be open to connecting? Because then there's no suspicion. And if they accept, they accept it. If they don't, that's fine. You have nothing to lose. And then I started to, of course, I also updated my LinkedIn profile. That's something that is very important when you're reaching out to people, because I'm getting a lot of requests now, and that's really wonderful. But sometimes I don't know who the person is because they have sunglasses. I don't know why. Or they have something. So, I mean, make it professional. So at least the person can see your face, and update it, make it current all the time. I think I must have changed my LinkedIn profile easily 100 times. I'm still updating mine. There's always room for improvement. And because that's you, there's no other way they can get to know you. So the LinkedIn profile is your brand. So keep that in mind. So check it, that there are no huge errors, and be clear what you do. Sometimes I get invitations that like people do 6 different things, and they are doing marketing, they are doing I don't know, something else and something else, and they're no correlation. So I'm a bit confused. What does this person do? So be clear and have some kind of focus in your LinkedIn profile. And if you've been a home mom for very long, like I did, put it in your LinkedIn profile. It's nothing to, I used to wonder who is going to take me seriously, this woman who has stayed at home for 13 years. I put it there because it is a job. It is a career. And I've said many times to people, it's the best career decision I have ever made, because it's work. So I see it as a valuable career. It's an important career. So put it there as the career break. And then the other thing I would say is that start, when you link, when you have already established a connection, thank them for accepting your connection. Start a conversation. Start, say, hey, can we meet for virtual coffee, virtual chat? If get the ball rolling. Don't keep it stagnant. Like, okay, I got the connection, great. So do something, especially if they are your potential, they are in your same industry, do something about it. Do something about the connection. It's not just collecting connections. This is because before you would collect business cards, and then normally you would go back and you will send a message to them. We met at this event, blah, blah, nice to meet you, let's keep in touch. So it's the same. LinkedIn is like collecting connections. It's like what you used to do, collecting business cards, but you want to keep it going. Then lastly, I would say create, post, and engage with other people's posts. This is so important. I started posting actively on LinkedIn. I think it was maybe end of the spring. Again, it was the pandemic. I have to thank the pandemic for that. It caused me to go to that platform in that sense, because there was no other way. So I started to write post, and then I was like, oh wow, people actually like it, because you don't have to. I never knew I could write before, and you don't need to write a lot. It can be something you have found in an article, share it, some professional opinion that you have, and then you engage with other people's posts. It's easier initially to engage by putting comments, not great job or fantastic. How you network at a face-to-face event, get in a conversation. You'll be amazed how much you can see other people joining in. And I've met some really great people through engaging, and we have become professionally, we are connected, and we have also developed a friendship. And then create your own post. As I said, it doesn't have to be amazing. Just start with something small, and then read other people's posts and get ideas. And that's very, very important. I think. I think some of you all who are attending, I mean, you might have seen many of my posts, and they just come with ideas. What do I write about? Oh, okay. That's a question. Why would my post be interesting? Well, just write it. If it doesn't get any reactions or comments, don't worry about it. Next post, please. That's my attitude. And as you write more, you get more ideas. That's with me. And is there a next slide, Rabia? Nope. Okay. So, so that's, I think that LinkedIn is very, very powerful, and I'm still learning many, many features. But I would say that even with a basic account, you don't need a sales navigator. Even with a basic account, you can contact people through groups. You can join groups. You can find common ground. You can reach out to people because you can find them, and you can also engage as much as you can. and not to worry if your post do well or not do well. So I think that's basically my presentation for now, because I would like to give answer